The final assignment that we'll be gearing our entire course towards will be that of you creating your actual final model sheet with your own character designs. Now the model sheet that we're dealing with is going to be something similar to the one that I'm showing you here from the Designing Cartoon Characters for Animation book, where we have a whole series of different poses and facial expressions from each of our individual characters. Now what I want you to do is treat this model sheet as an assignment in exploring who this character is and what this character is. You can create any type of a character that you want and any type of style that you want. I'll be flexible that way. And treat it the same way we did the rabbit drawings that I was doing earlier on the videotape, where I was flipping the drawings back and forth. Don't feel that when you're doing a model sheet of this type of nature here that you necessarily have to start off with a clean blank sheet of paper and that you have to start up in this upper area here and draw this character and make sure the character is just absolutely right and draw them in, and then you move on to this drawing over here and you draw the character all in. And you have to fill that page with all perfect drawings. Don't think that way at all, because that's not the way it is. A model sheet is made up of individual drawings that are either from a scrapbook or a sketchbook or a napkin or a piece of paper or whatever. It's just an assortment of collection. It becomes a collage, basically, where you take your individual drawings and you either reduce them, enlarge them on a photocopier, and you insert them, paste them down, and then you make a final photocopy of that for your final model sheet. So that's essentially what we'd be dealing with here. Take and create your design for your character and explore the different possibilities that you have with the character. A model sheet doesn't have to be exclusively just one single sheet of paper. You can have 5, 6, 7, any number of different pages for a model sheet to express who and what this character is and what the capabilities of the character are. That's essentially what your model sheet is all about. It tells the rest of the animators within a production or anybody else who's going to be drawing your cartoon character, this is the way the character looks in this situation. This is the way the character can move, and this is the extent to what the character can do. So it formalizes what is right and what is wrong with the character. So that's essentially what your model sheet is all about. Don't get uptight with drawing the cartoon characters in a specific way, or feeling like, oh man, this is so overwhelming, I don't know if I can actually do that. It really is quite easy once you get down to it. It's the first couple of times, whatever, that you do it, that's when it really gets kind of scary, and that's why we have this course has a 2-stage process where you can present your designs to me in a rough format, and then once I've reviewed them, gone through them, and said, well, this really works here, but this foot is a little bit too small in relation to that one, you can then go back and you can make revisions on it to make the final drawing look just the way you want it. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. I mean, that's part of the process of drawing, is making mistakes. I make tons of mistakes all the time. I mean, I'm not exclusively devoid of making mistakes. It's a common occurrence, but it's that voice inside of your head and that alarm that you have to have that goes off that says, hey, you've made a mistake, be careful, don't do this again. And so you're constantly backlogging that information to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. When you're doing your designs, you've heard that old saying that there is nothing new under the sun. It's just a different variation of it. Well, that's sort of true, and it's sort of not true, in that some character designs, like this character design here, was based on the Aladdin movie characters from Disney, where you have I've completely forgotten his name now, Jafar from Aladdin. When I saw the initial character designs that were being done, some of the conceptual designs, it sort of clicked in my head, whoa, that's kind of a neat character. So this is not, if you look at the Jafar model sheet, this is not Jafar. It's a variation of Jafar, where something is slightly different. The nose is bigger, the cheeks are higher, the eyes are here, there, whatever. Things have changed on it. So in essence, it is my character. It's a character that I've created. It's a variation of another character, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, of taking something that you like and using it. One of my earliest influences in animation was watching Roger Ramjet cartoons at lunch when I was in kindergarten in grade 1, and I can remember coming home and seeing Roger Ramjet on cartoons, and I thought, wow, this is great, I love this cartoon. And then years later, when I'm in college, this is like 20 years ago, all of a sudden I remembered these cartoons, and they started rerunning them on TV, so I started videotaping them, And I became really enthusiastic about this design style, so I began to incorporate it into the way I did my own drawings. And you can see some of that in some of the design sketches that I have more back here with, say, the Anthony character. This character here is more of a Roger Ramjet type of a look. And it's funny because I created this character back in, I guess it was about 83. And a lot of people are telling me nowadays that, oh, I see you're ripping off the Simpsons style. And I'm saying to myself, well, this was way before the Simpsons were ever created. So it's kind of funny how things like that turn around and come back at you. But as you go along through your career in animation, you will take different elements from different things and incorporate it into the way you draw. You'll look at a cartoon and go, wow, I really like that design of that character. And you start to draw it. Like I have a friend of mine that I used to work with back in 1986 at Atkinson's in Ottawa. We worked on the Teddy Ruxpin series together. His name was Bob Jakes. Well, Bob was such a huge fan of Hirschfeld that he began to incorporate that style into his drawings, and he used to do caricatures that were just beautiful of people within the studio, very, very funny caricatures that were drawn in that very fluid style of Hirschfeld style. Well, he went on to direct the Ren and Stimpy shows and do all sorts of things because he pulled in elements here, there, and everywhere from that show that were just incredible. And so that's what we do as animators. We incorporate different aspects of what it is that we do and what it is that we see, and we sort of meld it into the way we draw to make our drawings better or follow a different direction. Like, you know, there have been times where I've looked at my own personal drawings and gone, ugh, I really hate this design style. I just want to break away and do something completely different. And that's sort of what I do with the Scotty and Robert dog here, is I broke away because I disliked what I was doing. So I started to break some of the rules of having eyes on the one side of the head, where it breaks the theoretical perspective plane, where here you can see there's the shape of the head. If you put a cross contour on there, then this eye should not be there. It should be gone. It should be on the opposite side of the head. But yet I defied that. And you can see that extremely in this one here. This one works a little bit better. It's more on it. And these eyes here, they're popping right off the head. But it's sort of like I've made up these rules as to what I want the characters to do. And I've said, well, they can do this sometime, because I'm in control. I'm the guy who's drawing it, and I can make these decisions, and that's the way your designs will go as well. So don't be afraid of doing stuff like that. I encourage it as much as possible, just as long as you don't go right out into left field and do something completely bizarre. Here's another example here of this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of character. He's a very graphic looking character there, yet I had a lot of fun in the actual designs of him, playing around with who and what he was. This character here is Lethargic Lad. That's from an ex-student of mine. Created this character before I got to know him, and we sort of developed it into a comic book type series. So don't be afraid of doing stuff like this, of trying out different ideas and playing around with things. That's what this whole process is all about. Now, as we go into the final phase of what you're going to be doing after this course is all finished up, I just want to encourage you to continue to grow in your thought processes and in the way you think about how your character designs are done, of where you want to go with your stuff. And as I said before at the beginning of this videotape, you're the one that's ultimately in control of how you deal with this course, of what you take away from this course. You can take the information and say, yeah, that was wonderful, see you later, bye. I really didn't learn that much from it, and just go on your merry way and learn something from someone else at some point in time. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I hope that some of the stuff that I've been saying and some of the stuff that you will be reading and doing in this course will be helpful to you, and that you'll continue to grow as an artist and reach out and go to a higher level of learning. I think that's very important. But you are the person that has to do that. I can't do that for you. You're the one that has to do that. So in order to facilitate something like that, when we get into Lesson 8, the final package that I'm going to be sending to you, I'll send you out a series of larger assignments that you can work on in your extra time beyond this course to develop new characters and new ideas and work on the various aspects of the course. So I really, really hope that you get a lot out of this course. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun working directly with you, and I hope you learn a lot of stuff, and I hope we have a lot of fun. So just remember some of the basic principles. I'll go through a couple of my main rules. The number one rule is always think when you draw. The second rule is it doesn't matter how the job gets done, just so long as it looks good. And those are my two primary rules. The rest of the stuff is the stuff that we talked about perspective, about vanishing points, horizon lines, making sure that things connect together, making sure the attitude is the same, that the emotion is expressed within your character, that you really think about how you're putting your character out. And does it touch the audience? Does it make the audience think, yeah, this character is alive, and I believe in who this character is? That's the key thing. So I want to encourage you to begin thinking about these elements. Read through your assignments, read through the lesson books 1, 2, 3 times, as many times as you possibly can, and really think about what it is that's trying to be expressed in the assignment. And as you're doing your drawings, please think about what it is that you're doing. Don't be afraid to stop and assess what it is that you've done and say to myself, gee, I really shouldn't have done that line there. Okay, I'll fix this line up and make it even better. Do that. Please do that. That's part of the process of being a good artist. So don't feel like, you've got to stick to something that you've done and not change it at all. Okay? So I hope you really enjoy the course, and I look forward to working with you.